there's going to be at least two fan bases that feel cheated, that feel wronged once the MVP gets revealed. That's the dream for the NFL. That means that there's at least three players that are having extraordinary years. And we are seeing three players right now that are having extraordinary years. But it goes back to what I said in the beginning. What do you deem valuable? One thing that that is apparent, abundantly clear when you hear this argument about who people think the MVP is, it shows you what they deem as valuable. Now, I'm not here to change anybody's mind. I'm also not here to say that anyone is wrong. Because again, it's whatever value is what you deem it to be. But when you hear people talk about Saquon Barkley, they clearly value milestones. They clearly value historic anomalies. And you hear people say that if he breaks Eric Dickerson's record, which I think he's about 280 something yards away, he should be the MVP. That's showing you that they value history. They value milestones. They value record breaking. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. Eric Dick having the most rushing yards, especially in today's NFL that is so pass centric. I never thought that Eric Dickerson's record would ever be broken because of how the game is played. I thought that we would get a 2,000-yard wide receiver before we got another record-breaking running back. So what Saquon Barkley is doing, frankly, in my opinion, is incredible because I just didn't think the way the game is played that we would ever get here. But when you hear people talk about Saquon Barkley, you know that they value history. They value milestones. They value record breaking. When you hear people say Josh Allen, they value what you do with less. Because when you hear people talk about Josh Allen, what do you usually hear them say? Josh Allen is doing this with a team or with pieces that haven't proven themselves to be as good as they've been playing. When you look at this team, Josh Allen is the main reason why they only have 2 losses on the season. When you look at this Bills team, Josh Allen is the clear-cut reason why this team is even considered a Super Bowl caliber team, especially when you look at how they played this year. Those people are telling you that they value somebody's importance when the supporting cast isn't up to snuff. And just like Saquon Barkley, I'm not saying you're wrong. Remember, I came into this season saying I didn't think the Bills were going to have a good season because of exactly what they value. I looked at you losing incredible pieces on the offense, you losing incredibly important pieces on the defense. I just, with a lot of unproven people, remember, they started the season without Amari Cooper. I just didn't think that this team was going to be great. I thought Josh Allen had an opportunity to be great because we know how good he is. I just didn't think that was going to translate into the season that we're seeing for the Buffalo Bills in total. So I understand completely with people that say, look at the weapons that Josh Allen has and then look at his numbers. And on top of that, look at the places those weapons have been without Josh Allen, and you see that he is a clear-cut MVP. Again, I'm not saying you're wrong. You just value somebody's importance to a team that hasn't proven to be as good as they've shown. And then you have people that say, well, look at Lamar Jackson. And those are the people that usually value numbers and value stats. Because outside of wins and outside of rushing touchdowns and interceptions, wins, rushing touchdowns, and interceptions, Lamar Jackson has better numbers than both Saquon Barkley, outside of rushing, obviously, and if we just stick to quarterbacks, Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson has more passing touchdowns. He has less interceptions. He has more passing yards. Remember, the Baltimore Ravens was 2-0. I mean 0-2, I'm sorry. They were 0-2 when it's looking like their season was done. I think at one point they were 1-3. And when you look now, they're what? I think they have 5 losses on the season. It goes back to what you value. Now, people that value what Lamar Jackson's doing and people that are saying that Lamar Jackson should be the MVP, they also are taking, I guess the argument against Lamar Jackson would be Derrick Henry. You'd say, hey, but what about you have Derrick Henry, who is a future Hall of Famer? Josh Allen doesn't have that. What I'm saying is these arguments are valid. Hell, if you want to talk about valuable, and a lot of people don't say this, and a lot of people, because of the optics, but if we want to talk about valuable, to me, the most valuable player in the league is Joe Burrow. You see how good Joe Burrow has been. The only issue is his team doesn't have the wins. They're fighting for a playoff spot right now. But Joe Burrow has the most passing yards. He has the most passing touchdowns. Joe Burrow is having a historic season. But it's even more historic because he's having the numbers that he's having, and the team may not even make the playoffs. But out of the big three right now, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Saquon Barkley, who do I think is the MVP? Like I said before, I think it would be foolish for me to say that it's a done deal. One person has it locked up. Because for the longest, most of this season, I have said Lamar Jackson is the MVP because of the numbers. As of recently, I have kind of leaned more over to Josh Allen because of the fact of he's doing what he's doing with less. But where I stand today, I think it's bigger than the numbers. I think it's bigger than who do you have around you. It's the eye test. That's for me. I'm not saying that anyone has to agree with me, but for me, it's the eye test. When I watch both Josh Allen, when I watch Lamar Jackson, who do I feel is playing better? Who do I feel is the better player out of both? And right now, and it's not just recency because I just saw Lamar Jackson play the Texans, but I think Lamar Jackson he's had the best season. And then I'm also adding wins too, because that's why Joe Burrow gets eliminated. Lamar Jackson's had the best season out of all quarterbacks this year. Even if you look at his bad games, because he has had some bad games, they're not tremendously bad. Like, Josh Allen has had some bad games. Hell, they lost Now, obviously, the two teams were different, but they lost badly the head-to-head matchup against Baltimore. A lot of people are attaching Josh Allen and the Bills being the only team to beat Kansas City, which is a huge feat, but still. Lamar Jackson, in my opinion, has been the best player this year. Now, again, it goes back to whatever you argue. We're not going to stretch it out anymore, but if you think the best player essentially means MVP, then I don't know how you would not say Lamar Jackson hasn't been the best player. At least, let me back up. I think as great as the Bills have been, as great as the Ravens have been, if you take both players off the team, if you take Josh Allen off the Bills, you take Lamar Jackson off the Ravens, I do agree that the Ravens would fare better than the Bills because they have Derrick Henry. But I don't think that's the argument. The argument is, can they keep afloat without these players? And I don't think both teams can. Hell, we saw Derrick Henry his entire career for the Titans. I wouldn't be upset if Josh Allen won. I wouldn't be upset if Saquon Barkley won. Again, I think that's the dream scenario for the NFL. At least two fan bases is going to be upset. I wouldn't be upset if Lamar Jackson won. That just shows you that this has been a very competitive MVP race, and it also shows you what people value. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.